Hey, it's Straightsmile Solutions. Dr. Amanda at Straightsmile Solutions. I said it wrong. It's too early. Straightsmilesolutions.com. And didn't mean to throw you off, but yes, in this intro, we're going to be talking a little bit more about using existing, quote, big aligner brand. I'm not going to name them. You know the top two I'm talking about. Free treatment planning resources. Free. In order to pick ideal cases where you can then punt them over to the alternative aligner company or the white label aligner company. And if you don't know the difference between an alternative aligner company or a white label aligner company, I'm not going to go into that on this video. However, I will be going into this on our webinar. I'm going to be doing a webinar with some of my great strategic partners. It's going to be on May 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern, and it's on my website. If you go to straightsmilesolutions.com, go to classes, you will see it. 2 CE units, and it's free, can't lose, might as well join. And there is a limit to how many people can sign up. Only 999 people are allowed to sign up. So first come, first serve, and we will be recording it. So if you miss it, you can still get your CE later. However, it will be on demand and not synchronous. All right, so how do you use this? Well, obviously you need to be a member of one of the big aligner brands. One of them costs money to join, the other one does not. One you can join in 5 seconds. The other one you cannot. You have to take a class, either online or demand, and then get set up. It's not a big deal. Personally, if you have a certain type of scanner, which starts with the letter I, I'd strongly recommend that you do use the biggest aligner brand free treatment planning resources because there's more. There's just a lot more. So what am I talking about? Well, first of all, they have a photo loader where you can go ahead and use this app to take the photos, which help crop and orient your photos. They automatically import the photos into the dashboard, which is awesome. If you do that, then you're able to use, by the way, every single word I'm saying here, I have an independent, personalized video just for every single one of these keywords. So all you have to do is go into my YouTube channel and search by keyword. So like I say photo uploader, or I say in face. Just go look that up if you don't know what I'm talking about. This is going to be real high level today. So they basically will import your photos directly into Big Aligner Brand Number One's dashboard, orient them, and then now you can use the in-face resources, which are like game changers for gummy smile, midline cases, asymmetry cases, restorative cases, anything like that. Anything that's not like crazy easy, it's a great game changer. So that's free. What else? You can use the Bolton button. So the Bolton button helps me to know in a class 1 case if I need lower IPR or not. The Bolton button is amazing. I know that Invisalign and ClearCorrect have it. If you go into my channel, search by Bolton, it'll show you how to use it. Otherwise, you don't know if you need IPR for a tooth size discrepancy, at least for a Bolton, right? I mean, if it's a real subtle Bolton, a real minor Bolton, I'm not going to notice on a clinical patient clinically. If it's a big Bolton, I see peg laterals, yeah, I'm going to notice. Now, keep in mind, if the patient's class 2 or class 3, that throws that off a little bit. What else? On Big Aligner Brand Number 1, we also have the ability to use something called, what am I going to call it? CBCT. CBCT, where it's integrated into the plan, and it lets you know how far you can expand an arch without going through the bone and how far you can procline an arch without going through the bone. This is also a game changer because before I used to just check the roots, check the perio, check the washboarding. And a lot of times on adults, I was a lot more conservative than maybe I needed to be. But I've seen so many cases where patients have been pushed through the bone, in one direction or the other. And once you do that, it devitalizes and messes up the perio. You can't go back by pushing it back. So if I can get as much expansion and proclination as biologically possible, that would be great because that eliminates my sequential distalization or my IPR that's needed. So that's a really great resource. And once you work it all up using some of these resources, knowing if you're going to need IPR, how much IPR, where to stage the IPR, then I double it. So you guys all know the double it, that's its own video too. Always the 2x looks like this. I double it and then I go, okay, I have a few options. One of them is going to be 40 aligners with a bunch of IPR and some aligning and leveling. One of them is going to be 65 aligners with some sequential distalization. One of them is going to be 35 aligners if I take out a lower incisor extraction. These are my three options. Okay, maybe I feel comfortable with maybe one or two of those options, punting it over to an alternative aligner company. Now, alternative aligner companies in general, most of them are going to include at least one, if not two, revision and refinements. Very few of them include unlimited. Many of them are going to cap how many aligners you can do per cycle, whereas Invisalign has an unofficial cap of 99, and ClearCorrect does on their unlimited. Some of these alternative ones are not going to let you put a super hard case in there, or they're going to cap how many you can do, and they're going to limit how many revisions, and they're not going to probably give you a 5-year unlimited treatment plan. They also may not allow all kinds of different movements. You need to ask. I mean, you'll find out. They may not allow sequential distalization. They may not allow elastics, although I rarely use them anyways. They may not allow certain types of rotations or certain types of attachments that you might need to do a more complicated movement. So that's why you want to be really careful and pick a pretty simple case for an alternative aligner company. If you want to know a little bit more about case selection, here's another great video for you to watch. Go into my channel, look up the word green, look up the word yellow, look up the word red, because I have green, yellow, and red case selections. Greens can go to any aligner company, including white label. Yellows can go to some alternative companies and any of the big two, and reds shouldn't be going to any of them, but maybe big one. So, and white label is you pay per aligner. The one I work with is $18 per aligner unless you do volume, and then it goes down from there. There are other ones that are out there, a little more expensive in the United States. I heard there's even one in Canada. And basically it's going to be an independent lab, just spitting out the aligners for you. You're working with a certified treatment planning digital facility that's separate from the lab that will work up your case. Now, most white label companies are going to charge you for the setup. And the setup ranges somewhere between $90 and maybe $200. The one I work with is $90, so if you want a referral, hit me up. So the reason why I want you to use the free resources is because the big aligner brands 1 and 2, they don't charge you to submit a case. They don't charge you to work up a case. They don't charge you to get a Clin Check or a treatment plan. Clear private plan, or whatever you want to call it. So you can use the resources, you can play with it, and you very well may want to keep it there. And I'm sure there's people from the big aligner brands that are listening to this webinar, to this YouTube video, and they're like, wait, hey, I'm probably going to get a nasty letter. But I'm not trying to take cases away from them. I'm trying to get you guys to do more cases, because a lot of times you think it's an easy case and then you realize it's not. So put all your cases in the big brands, work them up, and then maybe the super simple ones, if you feel like you need to save on lab fees and you have the right patient who isn't looking for branded, or maybe you can't afford a $2,000 lab fee or an $1,500 to $1,600 lab fee straight up front because you don't want to be in the red, maybe then you punt it over to an alternative or a white label company. Nice thing about white label, again, look these up, these videos, batch printing. That is key. You can print in batches with many of them, which keeps your initial lab fee well under $250. You might have another one a few months later when you print more, another $200. But now you're keeping if your patient stays on track, you keep your lab fees well under $600. And if they go off track, well, that's on you, because you should have had a better accountability loop set up. So before you start doing white label and probably alternative, you need to have your tracking game on point. So look up all my tracking videos. You need to have your accountability loop on point. Look that up as well. I'd strongly recommend investing in virtual resources to do check-in. Keep in mind, virtual resources come for free with big aligner brand number 1, Invisalign Virtual. That is free, but you could only use it with their aligners and their mutual patients. But it is a game changer. We definitely do not do white label unless we have a virtual accountability loop, or unless the patient is coming in like every 2 aligners, because if they get off track, it's costing me money. And we're not doing that because that's going to get expensive. It defeats the whole purpose of the whole white label thing. So again, we're going to be talking more about this stuff in our webinar, which is on the 7th of May at 7 p.m. Eastern, 2 CE units, and it's free. You can go to my website, Straightsmile Solutions, to sign up, go to classes. All right, thanks so much. And I hopefully big aligner brand 1 and 2 do not get upset at what I'm saying, because I'm basically saying that you guys have IP and R&D that is superior to what's available with these. So there's a reason why I think a lot of times doctors should be using your brands over the others. And just keep in mind, you guys, that in some countries the rules are stricter than maybe in the US, where your ratio of approved cases to non-approved cases could get you like fined or could void your terms of conditions. So you need to read the terms and conditions. I mean, I see doctors who use Invisalign all the time that have 400, 500, 1,000 cases just in their queue waiting to be approved, and I don't know that all of them are actually using alternative aligners. A lot of them are just doing aligner wellness scans, or doing iTero wellness scans on every single patient in their practice. They're working every single patient in their practice up for ortho. And if they sell, they sell. If they don't, they don't. Sometimes they're surprised at how many they do sell just by doing that. Yes, it takes time, but it's a great way to produce for your practice. It's a great resource for your practice. So I think as long as you're sending some cases, to these companies, they're not going to get upset. I've been told in Australia that if and I don't know if this is true, this is hearsay, that if the number gets over 50%, that you're not approving at least 50%, you have to pay for it. But I don't know if that's true. So, all right, thanks so much.